Right now, NBC 26 live at 10. 3 suspects in custody after a string of armed robberies in northeast Wisconsin. Plus, anti-government protests erupt in Iran. President Trump even weighing in. And a look back at some of the biggest stories of 2017. 3 men behind bars tonight after a string of armed robberies in Brown and Outagamie counties. NBC 26's Shane Gustafson has more from the Green Bay newsroom.
The investigation started after several stores in and around Green Bay were robbed at knife point with a man demanding money, but police couldn't say if all 3 of the men were involved in all of the cases. The latest robbery happened on the 400 block of Cardinal Lane in Howard Friday. That's when 2 of the 3 men wearing ski masks forced the employee into a freezer before getting away with cash. Police haven't said if that incident is related to the other robberies of fast food restaurants, gas stations, and dollar stores in the Green Bay and Appleton areas. It's also unclear if these 3 men were involved with all of the incidents, and police say more information about all the crimes will come out on Tuesday. Nobody has been hurt in the armed robberies this month, but in most cases, the man demanding money got away with it. We'll keep you updated both on air and online as we learn more about the specific robberies. But for now, keeping you connected in the newsroom, Shane Gustafson, NBC 26.
1 person is in the hospital after a crash in Waupaca County. Officials say it happened after 1 in the afternoon today at U.S. Highway 455 and Nitsky Road in the town of Larrabee. A witness says a car ran a stop sign heading west on Lakeshore Road and struck a van heading south. The driver of the car, a 52-year-old Clintonville man, was sent to Theta Care in Neenah. Well, as the year comes to a close, are we going to see any changes as 2018 is knocking on the door? Gino Recchia has a look at your first forecast. Gino. That's right. It's going to be a cold start to 2018. We already have once again wind chill watches. Wind chill advisory. It is so cold, my mouth is not thinking as quickly as my brain right now. But yes, cold air mass until tomorrow morning, and it's not going to be warming up by much. We got our wind chills right now anywhere from about -14 in Green Bay to -23 in Owatonna, even -16 in Waupaca. And guess what? It could be one of the coldest starts to the new year on record. Take a look at this. I'm going with a high of 2 on Monday, and it looks like that might be the coldest in 44 years. The full forecast, though, coming ahead. All right, thank you so much, Gino. And covering the world now, a 3rd day of anti-government protests in Iran today. It would appear to be the most widespread demonstrations in nearly a decade. Hundreds of college students and others chanted against the government just hours after others held their rally in the support of the government. President Trump tweeted his support for the anti-government demonstrators, saying the entire world understands that the good people of Iran want change, and other than the vast military power of the United States, that Iran's people are their worst fears. The Pentagon says transgender people will be allowed to enlist in the U.S. military starting Monday. President Donald Trump announced in July he wouldn't allow transgender people from serving in the military, reversing President Obama's policy on accepting them. But since President Trump's announcement, 4 judges have issued rules on that blocking. Officials say the administration will not challenge those rules this time. In the meantime, the Pentagon has issued the guidelines to recruiters, outlining medical requirements and specifying how the applicant's gender will be identified. Police in Wichita, Kansas and the FBI are investigating whether an argument over an online game led to a hoax 911 call. That call led to an officer to a house where he shot a man and killed him, who apparently wasn't even involved in the argument. Police are calling it a case of swatting, in which false information is called into police who respond to an address where the emergency actually is happening.
The incident is a nightmare for everyone involved, including the family and our police department. Due to the actions of a prankster, we have an innocent victim. If the false police call had not been made, we would not have been there.
And a suspect has been arrested in California. Covering Wisconsin now, some state dairy experts say farmers should take a closer look at their contracts of an oversupply of milk strains in the market. Agriculture attorney Troy Schneider tells Wisconsin Public Radio that contracts between dairy farmers and milk buyers are usually informal. He says farmers have not had to worry about producing too much milk because buyers were back then easy to find. But an oversupply of milk has changed the market. The chilly weather is a bad news for people who use propane to heat their homes. Governor Scott Walker taking action as the state faces a propane shortage. The governor signing an executive order exempting drivers from some state and federal road requirements. Walker says the problem is caused by below normal temperatures and a driver shortage. Two state lawmakers are resigning to join Governor Scott Walker's administration. Republican Senator Frank Lassay and State Rep Keith Ripp will start their new posts on Monday. A spokesperson for Walker's office says those seats will be filled in next year's November election. And meanwhile, Governor Walker is set to give his annual State of the State address on January 24th. This will be the governor's 8th address since taking office in 2011. Now, he's up for re-election next year and faces a lot of Democrats who are looking to take his spot. And also, we in Wisconsin have our own ways to ring in the new year. In Door County, a giant cherry will usher in 2018. The colossal steel frame cherry weighs close to 300 pounds and will descend 120 feet in downtown Sister Bay.
Cherries in Door County go hand in hand, of course, and we wanted to sort of fashion our event after a New Year's Eve ball drop.
And organizers say the big cherry drop could attract up to 1,000 people. Something definitely to check out. Well, still ahead on NBC 26 live at 10, the Green Bay Gamblers helping children in need, and they did it on the ice during game time. But first, what's the weather going to look like for the rest of the weekend? Your forecast up next.
And now, your Storm Shield forecast from NBC 26.
We had a little bit of sunshine today, but guess what? It was another cold day. We woke up this morning with temperatures below zero, and we only struggled to reach into the upper single digits, and some of us creeping towards the lower teens. And guess what? We're going right back below zero tonight. Currently, goose egg in Green Bay. We got winds light out of the west and northwest at 8 miles per hour. That is making the wind chill feel like minus 14. And that is why we also have a wind chill advisory, not in Green Bay, but for folks west, from Anago down towards Wapaka and Watoma, even Fond du Lac under that wind chill advisory this evening. Several folks already below the 0 degree mark, and it's only going to get colder as we progress through the overnight period. Now, you factor in those winds coming in from the west and northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then you're seeing the wind chills as cold as into the minus 20s, feeling like minus 22 degrees. Good evening, Oshkosh. Probably something you are not enjoying right now. Minus 22 also in Appleton. Anago at minus 24 degrees wind chill. Temperatures are several degrees cooler right now than just 24 hours ago from this time last night. We have that cold air mass moving through after the parting system that's moving down to the south of us. Yesterday we had some cloud cover from snowfall that moved into parts of southern Minnesota and northern Illinois. But here is where that wind chill advisory is in effect all the way from Marionette County down towards Fond du Lac County, and that will continue until noon tomorrow. Now, it's not going to get warmer after that. It perhaps could be another cold night on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. Look at the forecast wind chills. We get into Sunday night, values between the minus teens to near below minus 20s for wind chill values, and holding steady between minus 20 to minus 30. So very cold night ahead, and want to bundle up if you plan to go outside or to go to really any evening festivities for the kickoff the new year. Quiet right now, clear skies. There are a little bit of some lake effect snow showers right along the eastern edge, western edge of Lake Michigan, hugging in from Sturgeon Bay down towards Manitowoc, but we should be staying dry for the overnight period. A high pressure is moving in, bringing all this cold air from the northwest from Canada, and we will continue to stay bitterly cold and below average for the next few days at least for the time being. So cooling down into the single digits below zero. Then for tomorrow, in the single digits above zero. It's this very swing saw pattern going above and below zero in the single digits for the next few days. Now, Monday could perhaps be one of the coldest starts to the new year ever recorded. As for tonight, we're dropping down to minus 5 with those wind chills between minus 15 to minus 30. Now for tomorrow, high of 7, but with those winds out of the northwest, still dealing with wind chills minus 5 to minus 15. Snowfall, not much really in the picture. And take a look on Monday, perhaps the coldest start to the new year. We have the coldest ever recorded was minus 2. And then you see the next few days, we don't warm up by much, going towards a high of 13 by Saturday with some more snow.
On the bright side, we can possibly be part of history on Monday.
That is true. If we drop down another 4 degrees, we tie the record.
Right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gino. All right, still ahead on NBC 26. The Green Bay Gamblers helping children in need. They did it on the ice during the game as well. Welcome back. The Green Bay Gamblers collecting donations for children in need, and they did it on the ice. It was the annual Fox Communities Credit Union mitten toss. Fans brought in new mittens and tossed them onto the ice after the team scored their first goal. Those mittens were donated to children in need across Northeast Wisconsin. And as the year comes to a close, we here at NBC 26 took some of the stories that had a major impact in Northeast Wisconsin in 2017. Regina On.